Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made.
Those were the days. And you knew where you were then.
Girls were girls and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Didn't need no welfare states.
Everybody pulled his weight. Gee, our old La Salle ran great. Those were the days.
You know what, I was just thinking back, and I was 22 when I left Holland. And by the time I got to the States, I was young. And, really, in those days, 22, you're not, you're just finished. Well, I finished high school, of course, in the old country. And then we had 2 years of college before university. Then, of course, I went to the States, and I enjoyed that. But, I was in the States for 5 years. And that in itself, that was a real event. I won't go into all the details, but Lord alive, I got to know so many people down there, and so many friends. And in the summertime we traveled. I went to Long Beach. Usually we had 3 or 4 guys that we traveled. They usually had a relative of some sort. And as I said, if there was no place to sleep, we either went to the Y, or we in the country we slept in the haystack. We traveled by railways. Yeah, that's what we took, all the way from Seattle to LA, and we got off downtown. There was all those girls there, and we didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were all standing outside these bars. Oh my God, you have no idea. But I didn't have a clue. But in any event, it was fun, We took the train on the way home. I don't know how on the hell, when we got the tickets or how the hell we did it. But that was the most wonderful ride, Oh, I saw so many places. I was in Walla Walla. I worked in the peat fields down there in the summertime. And they had all the convicts came out to work too. So they had guards with guns. I worked at the cemetery. I worked in the silica mine. You name it. Whenever I could make a buck, I used to work. And, well, it was exciting, honest to goodness. But then, you're all by yourself, and you have nobody to answer to, basically, yourself. So, I had friends wherever I went. Everybody put you up. Honest to goodness, that was a lifetime of living in about 5 years' time. So, when I came back to Holland, I was there for, I got at Arie Rees' place. They were in Amsterdam at the time. And they had a house full of kids, let's be honest. And Grandpa was there. And so I stayed there only, about 3 months, long enough for me to go to The Hague and get my passport and get a visa to Canada. And so I took off from there. That was in the March, I believe, of 55 that I came back to Canada, you see. For the States, there was a long waiting list for permanent visas. But in Canada, I went back. See, when I left, I went to Chicago. From Chicago, I went to Montreal. And there I was going to go to McGill University, you see, and but I had to go back home first. So I went back home, and then I applied for a visa and a permanent, immigrant status, and they gave it to me right away. And in the spring of March of '55, I was on my way back to Montreal. And in those days, if you were an immigrant from Holland going to Australia or New Zealand, the government paid your fare. So I got to the plane, and somebody gave me tickets, plane tickets. They gave me train tickets to Winnipeg. Well, to Montreal, I thought. But hell, I didn't realize that the train tickets could take me all the way free to Winnipeg. Oh, later on, the government came after me to try and get their money back. I said, the hell with that. When I arrived in Winnipeg, I didn't know a soul down there. But I don't know. I made contact with some people, I guess, and I ended up at Mrs. Krupke at a boarding house, and I got a job at the Children's Aid, so I became a caseworker. I couldn't go to school yet, you see, because it was in the middle of a semester, and I had to wait until September. Well, I tell you what, sweetheart, I actually sort of an incidental meeting. I think Mom met me before I knew her at all, and I was driving a cab at the time, and I think she took Joni someplace, and they called the cab, and Mom said I was the driver. But I don't remember nothing about that. And the other way was a law student and myself. We had a party going, and I was with a different girl, I think. And how in the hell did that go again?
Dad and I met on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, which was December the 8th, 1958. It was the night of the Manitoba Telephone System Christmas banquet. And Dad was going with this other girlfriend of mine from the telephones, and I was going with another lad. And we were all happily going out to the Christmas party. When we got to the hotel, it was Dad that got talkative with me, and he checked my coat. He bought me my first drink, and we had dinner together. And it just happened that one of the girls that were at our table, a girlfriend of mine, her name was also Geraldine, but we call her Jerry. And every time I talked to Jerry, I said, Jerry, your dad thought I was talking to him. So anyways, he sort of came into the conversation, so we had a laugh about that. And then we were dancing. It was this other chap, and then of course the dance finished, and then it came up the butterfly. I'd never done the butterfly before, right? But Gladys, my girlfriend, said there's nothing to it. But she says, we need a third partner, and her fiancé didn't want to do it. And so I said, I wonder if Jerry would like to do the butterfly. So Gladys says, go ask him. And I said, yeah, I think I will. And anyway, so that went off, and then after it was all over, Dad got me my coat, and he says, this was fun tonight, so we'll have to do this again sometime.
Well, in any event, there was a party of some sort, and I ended up with Mother.
I went to the Catholic Youth Organization variety concert on Sunday night, walked out into the hallway, and guess who was out there smoking a cigarette? But when I saw Dad on the Sunday night, I was so shy, I wasn't even going to approach him. And then Gladys said to me, Helen, look, there's Jerry. And I said, oh, yeah. And so with that, Dad heard my voice, and he walked towards us. Dad's first words were, do you like Chinese food? And I said, yes, I love it. Good. He said, will you have dinner with me on Saturday night? And I said, sounds like fun.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's music and moonlight and love and romance, let's face the music and dance.
On Saturday, he came over and picked me up in a U-Drive, and we went out for a Chinese dinner. And then Dad brought me home and gave me a kiss on the cheek, and he went his way, and of course I went to bed. And then I didn't see him anymore the following Thursday. But then he was phoning me every noon hour, you see, every day at work, you see. On Boxing Day, Grandma invited him for supper for the first time. Dad mentioned marriage to me on the 26th of December, was Boxing Day. I said, you're moving too fast for me. And so I said, just a minute. So he says, well, no, he said I'm patient. He said, I'll wait. So that was okay. And he didn't mention any more until my birthday. So January the 21st, 1959, he asked me again if I'd marry him. And I said, I liked him very much, but I'd still like a little more time. Of course, in the meantime, I was wondering, how am I going to tell my mother?
But you see, there was always Grandma in the background there. And there was no bloody way Grandma was going to let me marry your mother until I had my law degree. So we were safe until 1961 anyway.
In February there, I told Dad, I said, we were talking about it again, and I said, yes, I loved him, and I would like to marry him. So that was the end of that. I went home, and I said to Mom, I said, how long did you know Dad before you married him? And she said, 3 months. And I says, how long did you know Dad before he told you that he loved you? She says, none of your business. And I said, how long did you know Dad before he gave you your first kiss? She says, that's none of your business. So what are you asking these questions for? And I says, because Jerry's asked me to marry him. Oh, she says, this damn fool, doesn't he know when he's well off?
Another bride, another June, another Sunday, honeymoon, another season, another reason for making whoopee.
We were married on 4:30 Saturday afternoon, July the 15th, St. Edward's Church. I think I'm the first bride in history that arrived at church 5 minutes before the wedding was supposed to start. Our wedding waltz was True Love from High Society. And we danced. I think Dad danced with all the single girls after that. At about 11 o'clock, Dad came over and we had one more dance. And Dad says, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, let's get out of here." So we told Mom we were going to go. And as Mom came up to our hotel room with us, told Mom she didn't have to come. "Oh, someone help to change." I said, "Well, Jerry can help me. We're married now." And she said, "No, he's not touching you." After I changed into my going away outfit, we came down and everybody formed a circle around us and sang Auld Lang Syne. Oh, this is funny. My brother Ed asked me for a dance at the wedding, and he said to me, he says, "By the way," he says, "where are you and Jerry staying tonight?" So I told him, I said, "Okay." I said, "Don't you do anything to spoil us for us." I says, "Jerry and I are staying at the Royal Alexander Hotel." So we leave on our honeymoon, and guess where after the wedding it's over at midnight, and guess where Bill and Art go? And Joe Bohannes and Frank O'Connor and a few others, they go down to the Royal Alexander Hotel, and they go to the desk, and they want to know what room Helen Gerry Rosendahl are in.
Suntan, wind blown, honeymooners at last alone, feeling far above par. Oh, how lucky we are. While I give to you and you give to me true love, true love. So on and on it'll always be true love, true love. For you and I have a guardian angel on high, with nothing to do but to give to you and to give to me love forever true. For you and I have a guardian angel on high, with nothing to do but to give to you and to give to me love forever true, love forever
But you know, time went fast after that, and we were in North Kildonan. We had a brand new house there, and I was with Yanofsky and Pollock, the law firm, and I quit there and went to Gladstone and worked with old man Crawford, and I thought he was going to die, and he refused to die. So you know, we sold the house in North Kildonan, and old man Crawford, when he didn't want to die after a year, I couldn't make a living there, you know, the way it was. I did okay, but I mean, always being in competition with the old man, and then the opening came in Carberry in 63 actually. This guy was advertising his practice for sale, and I went here, and I liked the house more than actually anything else, and Mother said, "We ain't going to buy the practice unless we buy the house at the same time." I promised the house to somebody else, you see. He wanted to sell me the practice, but I said no. I said it's either everything or nothing.
Second time I came out with Dad to have dinner with the Martins, that was the other lawyer and his wife. Dad said to me, here's your new house. He says, do what you want with it. And I looked at this great big, huge place.
I'll light the fire. You place the flowers in the vase that you bought today. Staring at the fire for hours and hours while I listen to you play your love songs all night long. For me, only for me. Come to me now and rest your head for just 5 minutes. Everything is done. Such a cozy room. The windows are illuminated by the evening sunshine through them. Fiery gems for you, only for you. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And now, la 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 la. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And now I'll light the fire while you place the flowers in the vase that you bought today.
We got Morrison, Rena and Tommy moved in for a little bit, and they came back from Scotland, and then Tom and Joe were here already. You know, we got to know them real well, and their kids were all the same age, well, a little older, and Tommy and Rena, their kids, you know, about the same ages, and see, Beveridge and I, we used to take off once in a while, and of course we we went to, what was it, Arizona. All of a sudden, Beveridge came into the office one morning and he said, you know, it's time for a holiday. I said, sure. He said, where do you want to go? We said, oh, let's go to Arizona. Get up the plane, flew off to, what was it? Oh, yeah, we went to Winnipeg, to Calgary to Denver, and then, of course, in Denver, he had some relatives, so we got together with them for a while and celebrated, and he took the next flight out, actually to Phoenix, and but this place was in Macy, you see, where we were staying. That was fun. Gee, I enjoyed that. But then, 3 days later, Helen and Joe were at the damn what a bloody killjoy that was. And all they said is, we're here. Well, we did exactly the same thing to them, so I mean, hell, we couldn't complain about that. But we had a hell of a good time anyway.
Of course, we're waiting to have a family in the meantime, because I wasn't working, and I went back to piano teaching. Of course, when I moved to Calgary, I got a whole flood of students.
Mother kept praying every day for a baby, and so that finally happened in 1965. Thank goodness. That was the best, well, one of the best things that happened to us, I think, was when you came along. There was an answer to a prayer, literally, I'd say, because Mother had been trying so well. We both were trying. In any event, it worked out, and everything worked out for the best.
That was 9 months of joy once the morning sessions got finished. But when I was 4 months pregnant, Dad decided, actually when I was 3 months pregnant, Dad decided we were going overseas, European trip. Well, he wanted to, he thought, well, we would visit his dad, family, and wanted me to meet them. So we planned 4 months. We went away. We spent 3 days in Montreal, and then we flew from Montreal to Scotland in the month of April. It was really, everything was really quite beautiful. And then we flew to London, England. We spent 3 days in London. I think it rained most of the time. It was foggy. I went to Piccadilly Circus. Actually, I always thought it was a circus till I found it was a subway. Saturday morning came. We got packed up and dressed, and off to the airport we went because we were flying to Amsterdam. And then we got off the plane and got into the airport. There was Jerry's family all there too. His sister and Marie and Ari and as many of the kids they were able to pile into the van. Took us to their place, and the house was all decorated up to welcome Helen Gerry. So we spent the 2 weeks pretty well there, but Ari had holidays, and he took us, he was a policeman, and he took us around in the van, and we traveled pretty well all over Holland. The 2 weeks went very, very, very quickly, and then we took the train from Amsterdam to Paris. Spent 3 days in Paris, and then we flew from Paris back to London, to Montreal. We got on the train to Winnipeg.
Well, we took you overseas, whether you knew it or not. You came cheap, in-house. That was sort of to make up for that honeymoon we really didn't have.
I had you, and of course, life rolled around along as it was. We were all very, very happy, and 20-some-odd months later, along came a baby brother, John. And when John was 6 weeks old, Dad decided, let's go to Florida for 3 weeks. So we packed up you two children and invited Graham to come along, and we all went to Florida. Dad rented a U-Drive. Of course, he went golfing every day, so I got hold of the car, and Grandma sat in the back seat with you two children, and I drove all over the place. Then I got back to Carberry, life resumed as usual, and next thing I knew, I was pregnant with Paul. So June 69, along came Paul. Summer 71, of course, Dad got sworn in as family court judge. We started going on the circuit with him in the summertime when he went to the different courts, and he'd take us with him. And
today may be a never-ending highway. Yesterday I have forgotten smile. Can hear tomorrow singing from around the bend. It's just another dusty mile, and I got dreams to spare and time to spend. Time to spend. So I'm on the road, traveling free and easy. Gotta get on. Gotta fill my life with living. Just tell everyone I've gone on the road. The morning whispers follow me, come my way. By noon I'm on the far side of the sun, and I can't keep these wheels from rolling into one more town. There's so much to be seen and done. Settle up before I settle down. Settle down. So I'm on the road, traveling free and easy. Gotta get on. Gotta fill my life with living. Just tell everyone I've gone on the road. See the countryside unreeling, watch it all unwind. Nothing I know beats this feeling of not knowing where you're going or what you're gonna find. On the road, traveling free and easy. Gotta get on. Gotta fill my life with living. Just tell everyone I've gone on the road.
'74, we went up north. Went to Cranberry Portage, and remember, Dad went to the cabin we had stayed in on our honeymoon, and climbed the cupboard, and on top of the very top of the cupboard, he picked the package of matches, which said Helen Gerry, July the 15th, 1961. And they were still there.
See, the worst thing that basically what happened to me is being appointed as a judge, you know. We're doing fine, and, you know, we had fun, the kids were growing up, and Lord alive, you know, that 3 years, that was absolutely, well, like 4.5 actually almost, isn't it, until 75. That was really, you know, the worst 4 years of my life, I think. You know, I was so damn miserable, you have no idea. I was never home. You know, I was away, you leave Monday morning, and you got some awful bad habits. That 4 years, absolutely a lost cause. More luck than brain, I happened to get the job in Churchill. So which was a good thing, you know, it was a government job. But, you know, there again, I was traveling a lot. Well, it was okay for me, you know, I traveled and I enjoyed the traveling and stuff. But, I mean, I was never home, see? And, you know, the conditions weren't very good, let's be honest, on the base. They didn't really improve when we moved from the barracks to the other building. No, it was an experience. Let's put it that. You learn from it. Now you guys got to know native people that you never seen before really, and Eskimo people that you otherwise would never have known. Churchill is a history all to itself. It's totally distinct from the rest of Manitoba, to say the least. And I'm glad, you know, that we kept the house while we were in Churchill, because at least it gave us a chance to come home for the holidays, you know, in the summertime. And I enjoyed the train rides. The train rides I enjoyed a lot more than the flights, you know, the flying bit.
I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. Moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam the same old dream. And every stop that we made, oh, I thought about you. And when I pulled down the shade, then I really felt blue. I peeked through the crack and looked at the track, the one going back to you. And what did I do? I thought about you. There were 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. Moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam the same old dream. I peeked through the crack and I looked at that track, the one going back to you. And what did I do? I thought about you.
And then 78, of course, moved back from Churchill back to Carberry, which was a good move. 1980, I started teaching at school. Well, 78, I went to the hospital for 2 years. Care home, and then 1980 I started teaching at the school. That was that for the next 10 years. Went back to private teaching and raised my children, yes. Dad went to Hay River in August of 78, and he came back in December.
These are all events, experiences. There's a good side to them and there's a bad side to them, but you learn from both. So, I mean, what the hell? See, everything is divided in 10-year spaces, you know. Through the 60s, I practiced. Well, the 50s, I... over the place, yeah, that's right. But I mean the 60s, you know, I had a lot of practice. The 70s, well, I worked for the government, basically, you know, either in Churchill or in Brandon. That was basically a lost cause. That was the most tumultuous 10 years I think I ever had. And the next 10 years, you know, were really the quietest, you know, where I was night watchman. And I enjoyed that. That was sort of fun. But, you know, not what I wanted. But what the hell choice did I have? So in any event, but we kept body and soul together and kept the family together as much as we could. If you take it in segments of 10, it could only improve. And the first couple of years in the 90s were rough. But then, once I got out of the nation, things have been 100% better. We're almost to 2002 now, which is another 10-year period almost. And I hope to be around till, about another 30 years anyway. Again, but the situation is a different experience altogether again. I look at it this way, I've given her a hell of a hard time at one time, and if I can make up for it, in one form or another, I'll do it. In any event, this is our personal care home. The cares for me and I care for mother. And, so thank God I'm healthy and happy to be, to be around and be helpful and do whatever I can. Well, I hope to have Mommy around with me forever. And if we go, I hope we go together. And if we can go together, I hope to outlive Mama. No, honestly, I mean that sincerely. There is no way I want anything to happen to me before Mama, because I want to be around, as much as I can and for as long as I can. Be her personal care person. But thank God I'm in good shape and I'm healthy and, staying sober. That's the important thing. Well, for better or for worse, Mama said, she'd like to renew the wedding vows. Well, I told her, I said, Mama, these are just words. Living our wedding vows, that's far more important than saying them over and over again. Saying them doesn't do nothing, to me anyway. I said, we live them. We do things for better or for worse, not say them. And to me, that's far more important. But if that's what she wants to do, by all means.
I'm happy with the past 40 years, Jerry. And I'm looking forward for at least another 20 years, God willing, of course. And I hope that our health remains and that we can do some traveling together. I think we're very compatible and certainly love each other. And I think we've grown into a niche very much togetherness, and it hasn't changed in the 40 years we've been together. And I wouldn't want anybody else in my life but your dad. But I love you all. You are my life, and I don't know what I'd do without you.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. For people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them.
the walk of life. Yeah, take me to the walk of life. Here comes Johnny, gonna tell you the story. Hand me down my walking shoes. Here comes Johnny with the power and the glory. Backbeat, the talking blues. He got the action, he got the motion. And a boy can play a dedication to
son. There's nothing